Avatar 2 joins the $2 billion club, and Avatar 3 will have Fire Na'vi. So this comes to us from Variety. After just 6 weeks of release, Avatar: The Way of Water has surpassed $2 billion in global ticket sales. It's the sixth film in history and first in pandemic times to cross the coveted milestone, joining an exclusive club that includes Avatar, Avengers Endgame, Titanic, Star Wars The Force Awakens, and Avengers Infinity War.
Damn.
Later on, it says, now Cameron is responsible for 3 of the 6 highest grossing movies of all time. He's also the only director with 3 films to cross the $2 billion mark. Notably, Zoe Saldana, who plays Neytiri in the Avatar series, has now starred in 4 of the 6 films to cross $2 billion. She also plays Gamora in all the Avengers movies, the 2 biggest ones that have been popping up.
That's right.
And also on IGN says that James Cameron said that the next films will feature cultures different from those I have already shown. He continues, the fire will be represented by the Ash people. I want to reveal the Na'vi from another angle because at that moment I have only shown their good sides. Ooh.
Interesting.
Okay, well, first things first, Raul. We gotta make sure everybody knows we finally went to go see Avatar 2.
Yes, we have seen Avatar: The Way of Water.
And we have different opinions about it.
Kevin loves this movie. Kevin,
I
Kevin's
adore it.
Favorite movie in the whole world.
So good. And Raul despises it. So no, actually, it's the complete opposite. I'm not saying I hated it, but I don't think the pacing was as perfect as it could have been. My point of view is they could have cut it down maybe 20 minutes at most. Story wise, it had a beginning, middle, and end that I thought made perfect sense to me. To me, it was just a pacing issue. That's all I had with it. But
That's
Raul,
the only issue you had with it?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's like other stuff here and there, but I think the biggest thing is also the fact that this movie is setting up sequels. And so there are a lot of moments, like if you refer to Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, there were moments where they keep trying to mention things about, and guess what? We're going to make a Justice League movie. Here's a scene that's all about telling you about the Justice League movie we're going to work on. And it has nothing to do with the movie that we're watching right now. And so there's just a couple of moments in this movie that I felt like were doing that. Maybe not as horribly as Dawn of Justice, but
I was gonna say for me it felt a little more self-contained than Dawn of Justice did.
Listen, the biggest thing. No, I don't want to do any spoilers because this is no spoiler talk on this one.
No spoilers.
But that it is just generally how I felt about it. But
Sure.
Raul, I know you had a deep fatherly connection to this movie.
Well, I will say, I mean, look, I had the same issue with the movie that you did. I think it was a little too long, but I think for me it didn't bother me as much. It didn't bother. Sure, they could have shaved off like 20 minutes, but I will say I was very enthralled. I was very kind of hypnotized by the movie because it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous film, and we saw it in IMAX 3D, which everybody says that's the way you need to see it. Now, we saw it in IMAX 3D. Undoubtedly, it was a great experience. I love that I got to see it in IMAX 3D. That being said, honestly, this movie's so gorgeous. I can watch it in any form, and it would still be beautiful to watch. IMAX 3D is great, but I'm fine. If I didn't have to watch it in IMAX 3D again, I'd be totally fine. I enjoyed the action. The action was very good. The visuals, I mean, that's kind of the star of the movie, right? You go really to see the visuals and the stunning VFX that they were able to create for the characters and the backgrounds and all this stuff. It's absolutely astounding what they've been able to do.
Raul, let me ask you this. Do you think after watching the movie, does it deserve to have made over $2 billion?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. The movies, I enjoyed it, but I will say I am not head over heels for it. I'm not crazy about, I'm not so crazy about the movie. I thought the movie was good. I don't think it was amazing.
So the answer is no?
Now, I think I mean, I don't know, and I'm gonna have to maybe do some more digging into this, but my suspicions is that the movie reaching the $2 billion mark has a lot to do with the first movie and just the curiosity factor behind, people who love the first movie are gonna go and watch this movie, right?
Mhm.
People who maybe are kind of lukewarm about the first movie there's at least that curiosity factor of, well, I don't know, it's been like, what, 12 years since the first one? Like, how good could it possibly be? Like, I know there was a lot of that kind of going in, like, let me see what this is all about. Honestly, that was my mindset going in. I was like, let's see what this is about. That's where I was. That's where I was at. Coming out of the movie, I was like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And I think also you were touching on the fatherly kind of thing. I'm a father now, and I have a kid, so I think it hit me a little bit differently than it hit you, Kevin, because there's a lot of big themes about family and taking care of your family, and that's a big theme in the movie. And Jake Sully, the main character, it's a lot about him doing everything he can to protect his family and his kids. And so for me, there were certain moments of the movie that really kind of hit me in a different way than they probably would have before I had my daughter. So I think in that way, I was able to connect with it more. But yeah, I did enjoy it, but I think we're definitely on different sides of it. But I do acknowledge that it was probably a little too long. Well, but I was skirting around. We were talking about the 2 billion. Does it deserve?
So the answer is no.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I personally don't see why. I mean, I think I understand it. I think a lot of it has to do with the first one. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I think
You know what?
Has to do
Okay.
with the first one.
I'll
Popularity
say,
of the first one.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to go back to Pandora.
it was a hype thing. It was a hype thing.
It was very much a hype thing.
I think that when the next movie comes out, it will not be making over $2 billion.
That's the thing. Will we see? Because there's going to be 3 more of these things,
And now they're more consecutive. This isn't like a 10-year gap.
Right.
Like they didn't
Shorter
have 10
time
years
span,
to make this more beautiful. This next movie is going to be coming directly after this one.
Right.
So they don't have time to upgrade their CGI and stuff like that. It's going to look the same.
Does this become an issue of diminishing returns?
We'll see. But also, I could easily talk to you about the whole, conversation about family in the movie, because you're right. There is a lot of family with Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel showed up. It was crazy, guys. Spoiler. But yeah, there is a lot of family stuff. But I could argue that the family stuff didn't work. But I don't want to go into full details. Tell you what, for all you listeners out there, if you want to hear an Avatar 2 review, email us and let us know that you want that, because if you don't, we won't.
We did debate it. We did debate on maybe doing a review episode.
We did, but more importantly, Raul,
yes.
Do you think the fire stuff sounds like a really cool thing? Because personally, I think it sounds pretty awesome.
That's cool, and that's right. That's the other part of this topic is the ash people, right? That James Cameron has commented about. This is interesting. The part where he says, at the moment I've only shown their good sides. So now we're starting to see that maybe there's a tribe of Na'vi that aren't so, that shows a little bit of a darker edge to them. Maybe they'll be presented as another antagonist.
I kind of just like the idea that they're going to be more bloody and violent, because we saw, as James Cameron was saying, we saw their good side.
Well, I don't know if that necessarily means bloody and violent.
That's what I'm sorry. I should have added more of that quote in there. In that article, James Cameron did mention that he wants to see the worst of humans in the first movie we just saw. And then in this new one with the fire, he wants to see the worst violence and gore from the Na'vi that are from the Ash tribe. And so that'll be really cool to see them going at their worst and, not caring about whether or not they should kill you or not. Because clearly from these movies, we see that Na'vi are very peaceful alien species, but maybe these guys are pretty bad, But
So we got forest Na'vi, we got water Na'vi. So now we're going to see Fire Na'vi. Are we just gonna go through all of? Are we gonna see Rock Na'vi next and Sky Na'vi and?
And then there's going to be one Na'vi that's going to be the actual Avatar who controls all the elements. That's why it was called Avatar in the first place.
There's your crossover.
And then cue all the Avatar music.
Suck it, Shyamalan.
Oh, we don't talk about that guy, man. That guy's not a real person. But